Money! That's all we need out of that one. I'm the first to tell you my secret to my success is not because I'm smart by any means. I'll tell you first, I'm a simpleton. My success comes from knowing the smartest people. It's just like a fighter. No matter how good you are, there's somebody bigger, stronger, and tougher down the street that's gonna whoop you. And the same thing in this business. Doesn't matter how good you are, there's always somebody better. When I go to a new area, I find out who the top 2 or 3 guys are in my area, and I make those top 2 or 3 guys my closest friends, and that's who I network with. Because when you network with people that are striving to be at your level, or they're higher and their goals are higher, when you network with them and hang out with them, you raise your standards and go up. And that's what I've always tried to do is, you know, I'm not the best, but I try to look at the best.
What was your first impression of Skip?
There was more to him than just, you know, a guy that can turn wrenches and stuff. He had been at some operations that put an emphasis on things that I think are important. Keeping the shop clean, acting like a professional, treating the equipment and the rest of the place professionally.
The guys who say, well, I don't have your budget, I can't do what you do. I did what I do when I worked for the municipality. My shop was as clean, it was organized. We had paint on the floor. It wasn't the expensive paint, but we had it painted. And it doesn't cost anything to be clean, and it doesn't cost anything to be organized. That all comes with yourself and the pride from within to get to that next level. If ownership sees you taking care of something, they're more inclined to give you something when you ask. That happened here with my director when he first started.
I had a club president one time when I first got here. I was here maybe a year. The wash rack was way too small.
And he went to him and explained the situation, and he said, I know it was just recently put in, but it's inadequate for what we need to do.
Back then, you know, this was almost 25 years ago, we needed $100,000 to upgrade the wash rack.
And they came down and they looked and they said, their words were,
I don't have a clue what it is you do for a living. He said, but I do know one thing. I know that your bathrooms in this building are cleaner than the bathrooms at my house. And he said, you can have your money and your project's approved.
And that just proves it again and again, that when you take care of what they give you and you're good stewards of the money and the property and the facilities, they're gonna give you what you need.
The conversation lasted about 4 minutes, start to finish. And he said, thanks, and he left. Gave me $100,000. Skip always tries to elevate the profession. He always tries to help people out. You know, it doesn't matter who it is. If they call, if they need help, he's one of the first ones there. He took it upon himself to get the technician certification, and he pretty much did it all on his own. I knew he was doing it, but then when he finished, you know, it's a pretty big deal. As a certified superintendent, I know that they just don't give it to you because you fill out some piece of paper with your first name and last name. I thought it was great.
First certified turf equipment manager in Florida, number 6 in the world, first one to take it when it went public.
You'd be surprised at the amount of members that actually stop by just for air in their tires. And when they pull up to the shop, you know, a lot of guys think, well, that's not what they pay me for. They don't pay me to keep the shop running. And it's on the same on our side too. Well, it's just not important. It's not important for me to be a certified equipment manager. It's not important for me to attend meetings and stuff. But when that member pulls up to your shop and they could eat off the floor, they don't have a clue what we do for a profession. But they do know one thing. They know clean, neat, and organized.
You only get one chance to make a good impression, and that's it. After that, it's all downhill from there.
All right, let's talk about the Edwin Budding Award. What did that mean to you, man? That was huge.
It's a huge honor, and I mean, it was a very humbling experience, and it probably means more to me than anything because of the timing when Jeff Wright called. He actually called my wife, and I had just stepped out to go for a walk up the street while she was resting, and it was towards the end where she was getting really bad, and she had texted me and said I needed to call him right away, and I'm like, well, I didn't understand why he called her, you know, and so I called him back, and so he proceeded to tell me that I had won the Budding Award, and you know, I was, you know, kind of down, so I wasn't like ecstatic, and you know, of course, he said, well, you were nominated for an award, and I'm like, okay, and then he said, and you won, and I'm like, all right, and then he goes, the Budding Award, and I'm like, wow, that's cool, and he said, yeah, he said, there'll be a lot more to follow, and we'll be in touch, but we just wanted to let you know, and I'm like, that's cool. I mean, you know, I told him, I said, it came at a really good time, because I said, you know, we've all been kind of down here lately, so I said that's some good news that I can share with my wife. So I was able to go in and tell her that why he called, and that, you know, I was nominated and selected, you know, for the highest award that an equipment technician or somebody who's contributed to the equipment technician, you know, industry could win. And she was like, way to go, you know, and gave me a thumbs up. And so it was real nice that I got to share that moment with her. Maybe somebody thought about the times I waved the banner for the equipment technician. I didn't even think anybody remembered really what little bit that I did. When I was attending the national seminars, there weren't technicians going and taking the classes, and I used to always tell the superintendents, let your guy come, and they would tell me there's nothing here for him, and that's when I would always get on my soapbox and say, you're wrong, there is. Does your guy complain about top dressing and needing to grind reels? Well, yeah, okay, well, a lot of technicians don't understand there's a lot of benefits to top dressing. If he came and took a simple class on soils and top dressing, aerification, we can work together. We need to have that education. We need to stay on the cutting edge of technology. We need to network. We need to learn how to communicate. And that's what I was saying before about the national and taking, you know, a simple agronomics class. Take one on budgeting. or public speaking, so that you can stand up in front of the board with your superintendent and justify why you need new equipment. I never like to think myself being, deserving of something. I'm just always grateful for what I get. The most rewarding part for me is going out in that shop and seeing those guys smile. The most important part to me is the people. I wasn't always like that as a leader. It took a long time to get to that point, but I attribute a lot to my wife. I'm sorry it took that long to get to where I'm at now, but I'm thankful to God that I'm at that point that I know how to treat those people out there. They take care of me, and when the chips are down and I'm hurting, they're there for me. Not just for work, but for my personal life, and I'm there for their personal life too. Wasn't always like that, but everything evolves into something good at some point. These guys, they were right there for me the whole step of the way. When I come in, they come up and hug me. They're family. Those guys are everything to my success. Without them, it's impossible to keep up with an operation this size. We've got a wide range of talent out there. Yohari and Fidel, who I call Primo, and those two are super talented. I'd be lost without those two. I'd be floating in the water. Ready to get rocking and rolling. And you got them new mechanics gloves on, so I know you're ready to start tearing stuff apart.
What has this position, the career, in this industry taught you about yourself?
Taught me I ain't as smart as I thought I was 30 years ago. It's taught me that I needed to work on becoming a better person, a better leader, and it's taught me humility. When I was a superintendent, I had a saying, because it happened to me: you can go from hero to zero in just a matter of minutes. You just got to humble yourself, and you got to be honest and upfront with people. I think if I had to start this career over again, I would definitely network more. I would seek out more education, try to take classes on learning just how to be a better leader, a better manager. If I had to start over again, that's what I would do. I wouldn't want to be the guy who's yelled and screamed and got mad and threw wrenches. Want to be the calm, smiley, happy type guy that just enjoyed doing what I'm doing and go home at the end of the day. I spent my entire life in the golf industry, and it was a rewarding one for me and my family. I think I made my impact in the way of promoting a professional image, in talking about how we needed to change the stigma from shade tree, mechanic, grease monkey to a true professional like what the superintendents were being viewed as. Because when you go out to a meeting, you're not just representing yourself, you're representing your employer and you're representing your colleagues in the industry. We all need to strive to rise to a whole new level.
If you started a brand new operation, first guy you want to go find is an equipment manager. That's the first guy. One of the most valuable pieces in the operation. As I say all the time, Skip's heard it, the equipment manager is staying. Everybody else can leave.
All right, I'm done for the day.